This is going to be a great note to transition before we wrap up, but I wanted to give you an opportunity because I always see you in, obviously, with the two shows that you're the Usual Suspects and the PPD podcast, and then you're always like a talking head with Piers Morgan. You're always in, out, but I actually really wanted to have these last closing moments. Tell me a little bit about your journey. I know you're a veteran, but just tell me as we close a little bit about how you got to this point to be a passionate conservative, a common sense, a justice seeker, your journey to faith. That's ultimately, you've gone from where you were to being a leader. You're a leader now, and you're leading by example. I just love to give you a few moments to tell a little bit about your story, or at least the parts that you think are important for our viewers.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity, Brody. I appreciate it. So, I grew up in Yonkers, New York, immigrant parents. Mom and dad are from Iran. We're 100% Assyrian. I know there's a bunch of Assyrians in Australia. I came to do a show years ago. One of the best experiences of my life. I freaking love Australia. And, hardcore, middle-class family. My father, worked his butt off. My mom worked as well. He drank a lot. Smoked a lot, and he passed away. Like I said, God rest your father's soul. My dad had lung cancer, brain cancer, bone cancer at 52 years old. It ate him alive. Like it was the fastest death. I was 19 years old when he passed. So really difficult. I was in the military. Me and my brother, my sister joined. Brody, never political, never really cared. Just wanted to serve the country, serve the nation. 9/11 happened. Everything switched. Something clicked in my brain, Brody, because I'm serving, I'm seeing this moment of like, wow, we were attacked, terrorists, over 3,000 Americans dead. I was crying, especially when Bush Jr. went up and did that speech on that battleship, it was a moment. And then I slowly started realizing, Brody, wait a minute, there are no weapons of mass destruction. Wait a minute, we've already been bombing and killing. Wait, what? We went for the gusto. And now you guys are backtracking, and now you're changing the name of the war to enduring freedom. Wait, what? So the taste got really bad in my mouth, Brody. My cousin Michael was like, Vinny, get out. Your dream is to do comedy. You're not going to stay in for the rest of your life. You're already talking like how I'm talking now. So I got out, went to Hollywood, started, chasing my dream, ups and downs. But, as it being in my blood, Brody, addictive personality. Was drinking, I was partying, I was just off the freaking path. I close call with death. I lost two friends of mine right before I moved to Florida to work with Patrick, Brody. Two of my friends that I was supposed to be with that night. Something, and this is where I say God, Brody. When it comes to divine intervention, with God moving Trump's head, which I totally believe. Yeah. That's my Vincent Oshana's feeling. Evil had a plan, Brody, but nobody, not you, not me, not the shooter, not the government, not the deep state, nobody interrupts his plan. You could have yours. Exactly. God did that, and then something that night, Brody, I was supposed to go perform and then go hang out with them because one of the girls I was dating, and something told me, Brody, don't go tonight. Don't leave this house. And it was totally unlike me, Brody. I called them, and the comedy club owner, it was sold out for people to see me. I was like, I don't feel good. I'm not going to come. She lost her mind. She bade me for 6 months. And then I get a phone call that night, 4:00 in the morning. Hey, Vinny, just giving you a heads up. Both of your friends and one of their girlfriends were at this party with this girl. They both did a bump of cocaine and died of fentanyl poisoning. And this is when fentanyl was just hitting here. So, Brody, craziness. I found Pat on Instagram, brother. I was in my car depressed. Instagram, I see Patrick's face. He looked like my dad. I clicked on it. He calls me. Half an hour conversation. And then within 6 months, Brody, airplane here. I was still drinking, still acting like an idiot. And then I don't want to say this, Brody, because I'm almost 2 years sober, May 31st. I stopped using, and I tell people this. I don't want to say that I found God, Brody, because I don't think people find God. Because I tell them, Brody, God is standing next to you all the time, okay?
Yeah.
And I tell them, you just have to look. You just have to stop and go, he's right there, and accept it. In that moment, Brody, I was at church, and some guy, I was going through it. Some guy just goes up to me that worked at the company. He's not here anymore. And he goes, Vinny, you're going to church with me on Sunday. And I was like, okay. Remember, I'm a Christian, no church, no nothing. I'm in the back of the church, and there's a part of this church, it's a non-denominational church, where the pastor goes, okay, guys, this is the part, the altar call, where if anybody hasn't accepted Jesus, if you're really ready to make this change in your life, and really, because once you go there, Brody, once you say, I accept it, I'm all in, there's no turning back, because now you know the light, you've already made the decision. And Brody, as the pastor saying this, I swear to you, something starts pushing. The guy's not touching me. I felt the Spirit bring me to the front. I'm getting emotional, and out of nowhere, I didn't know he was there. Patrick is standing on the side, and he's recording me, and he's like, yeah, like so happy, so ecstatic. Amazing. And I got there, and that switch, Brody, that change, and just surrendering and knowing, Brody. And I'm supposed to respect everybody's religions, and I do. And listen, do whatever you want to do. My goal in life is to let people know, Brody, that searching for the kingdom and having Jesus Christ in your life and knowing, Brody, it's undeniable. Jesus Christ was here. They all wrote about him. Every single one of them, Muslims, Jews, everybody. He died the worst horrible death for us. And he healed, and he died and came back. No Buddha, no Muhammad, nobody died and came back. That's the truth, and that's the way. And where I am, Brody, 1,000%, I owe it all to God and making the decision, Brody, to go towards him and walk the path. And there's a misconception, Brody. I'm sorry that I'm rambling.
This is amazing.
I try to walk in the footsteps of Jesus Christ. Doesn't mean that I am ever going to actually step in his footsteps, but I'm trying to. And the more you try to, like, Brody, just sleeping with random girls, drinking, drugs, decisions, lustful mind. I wake up every morning so freaking happy. I pray immediately. I get on my knees and I thank God, and I'm grateful for every single day, every moment. I pray for you, Brody. This is the first time we're seeing each other. I pray for you. I give a prayer for the world. I say, whoever's suffering, whoever needs you, let them find you. Let them get closer, because I'm telling you right now, Brody, there's only one way, and that's the way. And no matter what, even when I stumble and I go down here, Brody, and I'm depressed and I'm sad, and we all go through it. Yeah. We all go through it. The pastor on Sunday said, he's like, oh, the people that are going through it right now, and a couple people, and he goes, whose life is going okay right now? I raise my hand. He goes, it's not going to be like that forever. Yeah. You're going to have the downs, Brody. You're going to fall off the horse. Some people that are alcoholics, they're going to go back. You're going to lose people, but don't lose the faith in God, and don't think that he's doing it because he hates you, or it's just these things happen, but you can't lose the vision, and you can't lose the faith of what God, and he sends his son to die so that me and you can actually one day go to paradise and be with him in heaven. It's the greatest decision I've made in my life.
That's an amazing way for us to wrap up. I feel like we started with the noise of the world, but we've actually landed on the truth, which is that's actually made me a little bit rattled. Thank you, Mike, for sharing.
You think I wanted? And this is the thing, Brody. My emotions, they were numb. They were numb with alcohol. Yeah. They were numb with drugs. I was such a zombie, Brody. And I apologize, because when I get emotional, especially when we're on a podcast, I don't want people sitting there freaking crying.
No, but it's real. It's real, you know.
And I haven't, and Brody, because I haven't cried. I didn't cry when my dad passed away. I didn't cry. These are now emotions, Brody, where now I'm like, oh my God. And not just emotional crying, Brody. I'll be driving in my car and I'll just get a rush of goosebumps. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's the love of God. Yeah.
Happy. I go, is that what it feels like? Oh my goodness, Brody. It's such a change. And I tell people, whoever's listened to this, it's never too late. It's never too late. Even, again, remember when Jesus was on the cross, and there was two thieves. Yeah. Two thieves. And one of them was like, hey, buddy, suffering just like all of them. You're the Messiah. Why don't you get yourself off? Get us off here. What are you going through for? And the other thief was like, how dare you? He didn't do anything. We're thieves. We deserve this. Don't say this. And then he looks at Jesus and he apologizes. in the last moment, and Jesus says, "You're going to be with me in heaven today." If that doesn't show you that, if you're true in here, if you're true and you're sorry and you're willing to give in and ask for forgiveness, you're golden. So I tell people that don't lose freaking faith. It's never too late, and it's the best decision you're ever going to make in your life.